but we definitely had our chances. I like the fight that our guys showed. I like the resiliency that our guys showed. We were down a couple of times by, a big 18, 16 points. And our guys continued to fight to give us a chance down the stretch. So it was a great fight. In the second half, they shook loose a little bit in transition. And on the offensive glass, they had a couple of big offensive rebounds that helped keep the lead or help them, stay right where they need to stay to pull a tight game out. So we have to do a better job in those two areas for 48 minutes and not let up, like we did a little bit in that second half. But very encouraged by our guys' fight. We know we didn't play our best basketball. That's not taking anything away from the Hawks.
This one's a little different.
The game was physical, and we found a way to match it, and we gave ourselves a chance down the stretch.
Okay, cool. Okay, sorry, I mean a home presser now. The other.
Some of the sloppiness, was it your guys or was it their physical play?
Both. Both teams were sloppy. We had 16 turnovers. We had 18 turnovers. They had 16 turnovers, and a game
Coach,
that's
some
that
might
physical.
think that 12.5 seconds is still a lot of time for a New York Knicks team to get some offense going, but you guys had such a strong defensive stand. How much did you trust your defense to be able to do that?
Is going to have a chance to win it because you're going to win the possession game.
Mike, your last shot, what did you want to see on that possession and what kind of mucked it up?
We actually got a switch that we weren't thinking we'd get in terms of a Kongu on Jalen, and we cleared the side of the floor for him. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to zipper him to the top of the floor and clear that right side of the floor for him because that's what he's comfortable doing, and tell him to go win it. That's what we were looking for.
Mike, using Benjamin Kell for, I think, all but 4 minutes of the second half. What did you see there, and how concerned are you about him moving forward?
I'm not concerned about him. I just, again, the way the game was being played and the different runs that we made and the different combinations that I threw out there, I just went with what I felt the game called for at that time. So I'm not concerned. Mikhail's a pro. He's been there. He's been here, played in hundreds of basketball games, so he'll be fine. But this is what the game called for, and this is what I went with.
Mike, kind of with that, all during the regular season, you did a good job of kind of pushing buttons and finding the right guy off the bench to come in. In the postseason, specifically the last two games, a couple guys have struggled on the bench. How difficult has that been for you to just, when the team needs a little something, just trying to figure out who to go to as some guys are trying to find their rhythm in this series?
That's what my job is to keep searching, and that's what we had to do tonight. And we found the right combinations, and went up by, had a chance to go up by 3, I think, and you couldn't ask for anything better than that with a minute left in the game or less than a minute left in the game, a chance to go up by 3, especially with the way we played. And so that's what my job is to do, is to keep trying to find different combinations that may work.
Mike, it seemed like only OG and Deuce were able to really get good looks from 3. Even the OG's looks were kind of 9-on-1 shots. What are you seeing with Atlanta's defense about running you off the line or stopping you from getting good looks from there?
They're closing out hard, and when they close out hard, we got to drive the basketball. I do think it's a tough game for the officials to officiate, but I know we got fouled on a few of the drives that didn't get called, and it's tough to see, 20 to 26 in on a one possession game when for sure there were a couple of fouls that should have been called. I'm sure probably Atlanta feels that same way, but you always hope that at the end of the day, the free throws and the personal fouls can be even. But our guys versus the hard closeouts, they got to drive the basketball. And when they drive the basketball, they got to make good decisions at the rim. And if the spray's not there, then we got to finish. We got to finish strong.
Mike, Mitchell only had 11 minutes, just kind of limited effectiveness. Was it something different that Atlanta had done after such a good game two from him? And just how much more do you need from Mitch kind of moving forward?
No, we need something from everybody. And the reality of what happened was, we ended up going with Cat. And, Cat played a significant amount of minutes for us because he was rolling in that second half, and so it limited Mitch.
Mike, that lineup you played for the majority of the fourth quarter with Jalen, Deuce, Josh, OG, and Cat,
Yep.
That lineup was plus 24 in 14 minutes tonight.
Yep.
What do you feel like was working so well for those five? And do you feel like it's something that's replicable moving forward?
I mean, they did a good job of taking care of the basketball, and they were pretty aggressive. Atlanta, they're trying to get up in us. They're trying to speed us up. They're playing physical, and when you face that type of defense, you can't play on your heels. You can't, you can't be passive at all. You got to be able to rip that ball through and get to the rim. Or if they close out hard, you got to be able to snap, drive, and get to the rim. And that group did a pretty good job of it. They did a pretty good job of trying to get out in transition too, and then they did a pretty good job of trying to get stops defensively. And that's something that we all have to recognize and embrace.
Like you were saying, at this point in the season, you got to be open to anything.
For sure.
Just based on how Miles played, do you have to consider thinking about changing the starting lineup?
I mean, I'm not even thinking about that right now, but in the same breath, I've said it before, like you said, we have to look at everything, but I'm thinking still about the game and what we could have done better and all that other stuff before getting into that.
Mike, you made a tweak to put Josh on CJ in the second half, and he did a really good job of kind of slowing him down a little bit. He's done a good job on Jalen Johnson. Has it been frustrating because when he's on the floor, the point of attack physicality seems to be there, but then when he's off, it kind of goes away? Have you felt that with this group so far in this playoff when Josh is on and off?
I mean, it's tough. Josh brings a lot of physicality to the table. He's got great feet. He's got great instincts. He really gets up into the basketball. So it's hard to kind of compare others to him because what he does is unique and how he does it is unique. So it wouldn't be fair to necessarily compare him to the others.
Michael, where would you say right now after these two tough losses the morale of the team is, and how do I guess you uplift them for what's a must-win for the next game?
Yeah, the reality of it is, and I told them this, it's a 7-game series for a reason. Stuff's going to happen. There are plenty of teams have been down 1-2. I even think Oklahoma City was down 1-2 last year, and they end up winning it. So I'm not saying we're going to win it or anything like that, but the reality of it is it's 7 games, and you take one game at a time. Each game is its own entity, and that's what I told the group. Now, this should sting because we gave ourselves a chance knowing that we didn't play our best basketball. So it should sting, but we need to feel it and get ready to be locked in for the next game, which we will be. Thank you, guys.